everyone, and welcome to another episode of It's Crystal Clear. This is a show designed to tell your money where to go instead of always wondering where it went. My name is Felicia Young, and I appreciate you allowing me to help you to tell your money where to go. So, this week, I have a pretty cool story that I want to share with y'all. In the previous episode, I told you to be sure to teach your children about managing money, letting them see how their shoes, how their toys, how their cereal fits within the family budget. So I had a dad recently tell me that he started making Saturday afternoons his family time to sit and plan his family's financial week together. He said he and his wife would discuss together for the first time ever what bills needed to be paid, what they wanted to save for, and what they wanted to spend their money on together. They decided to include their middle school and their high school children in the conversation. They discussed allowances that the kids would get for chores. They taught them how to save. They taught them how to spend based off of their needs. Then they can spend based off of their wants. He said a few weeks ago, during one of their Saturday afternoons together, their oldest child had a couple of envelopes. Inside the envelopes were $15 gift cards. He gave one to his dad and he gave one to his mom. They were to local restaurants. The son said that he was paying for his parents' lunch during the upcoming week. So, of course, that melted his mother's heart. The dad told him that he didn't need to spend his money on them, that he should have saved his money for what he really, really needed. So the son put on that charming smile, and he said he needed to give them that gift. He said he wanted to show them that he appreciated them for everything that they do to provide for him and for his little sisters. So, of course, that melted the mom's heart again, and she gave him another big hug. The dad gave him a high five, but he said in the back of his head, he knew his son did that so him and his wife would say yes to something bigger that his son wanted later. I told him simply not to be a hater. His son was being very smart. He was just sowing seeds so he can reap a bigger harvest later. I thought that was hilarious. So I'm also enjoying all y'all snitching on each other. Y'all are really telling on each other. It is hilarious to me. I am getting so many messages telling people whenever y'all in stores, whenever y'all shopping, whenever y'all are doing things that y'all are not supposed to be doing. I'm enjoying these friendly competitions and these rivalries. But y'all did watch the episode, What About Your Friends? So you know that you're supposed to hold the people in your village accountable. You should want everyone in your circle to be winners. You should definitely want your family. You should definitely want your friends to be free indeed. So keep on snitching. It is okay. I'm giving you permission to be a snitch. So guess what, y'all? This is our 12th episode. This is our 3-month goal mark. And I said that we're going to celebrate. Y'all see this gift right here? I have 3 envelopes inside for 3 people who were extremely active in watching this crystal clear. They participated in the activities and they hit their first set of goals within the 3 months. So I will let you all know who they are at the end of this episode. So today's episode is called To Your Credit. In this episode, I will discuss what credit is and how to use it to your advantage. So I'm about to be very transparent. When I was in my 20s, I had no idea what credit was. I had no idea of how having bad credit could stop me from buying what I really wanted, or worse yet, paying too much for what I really needed. So I had a really good job. I had a very good job, and I was making really good money. So at the time, I didn't have a house note, I didn't have a car note, so I spent my money on any and everything that I wanted. I spent every penny. Y'all, I spent. So my credit issues came when I would go to stores and they would ask that question. You know that question. Do you want to open an account and get a 10% discount off of today's purchase? I sure did. So I had credit cards to any and every store in my city. And I charged those cards up to the max and beyond. And every month, the bills came. I saw them. Sometimes I paid them on time. Most times I did not because I was spending every single dime of my paycheck on other stuff that I wanted. And I didn't have enough money left over to pay those bills. So I chose to spend more. So of course I started getting those nasty little notes threatening to report my late and no pays to the credit bureau. Okay. I didn't know who the credit bureau was, and they didn't matter to me, and I just simply did not care because I was still getting a paycheck on the 1st and the 15th. I was making racks on racks on racks. I didn't care about the credit. What did it matter that I was being reported to some credit bureau? Oh, y'all, but I found out sooner than I planned. Credit really does matter. So this particular year, I needed a car. So I had been using my mom's car to get around. But she and I both were very busy women. And busy with one car, it just was not working for us any longer. So I decided to go and get my own. I knew what I wanted. I wanted a Mustang 5.0, white with gold trim. I wanted a sunroof, and I wanted a spoiler on the back. I wanted wood grain steering wheel. I wanted that car. That particular car, I wanted it so bad. It cost $25,000. So I had no clue about the value of a car. I just knew that I wanted that car. So I went to the dealership by myself with no knowledge of how to negotiate, no clue about how bad my financial situation was. I went there to drive off in my car. So the salesman pulled my credit report, and he looked at me, and he looked at me over his glasses. And in hindsight, I think that look really was, why are you even here wasting your time and mine? I was denied that car, y'all. I was denied big time. And truth be told, I was denied all the cars on the lot. It didn't matter the price. They weren't giving me a car. The only way I was able to get one was if I had a co-signer and a nice size down payment. So I had someone who was crazy enough to co-sign for me. So I couldn't get the Mustang 5.0, the white one with the gold trim, the sunroof, spoiler on the back, wood grain steering wheel, $25,000. No, they weren't giving me that one. But I was able to afford a teal Toyota Tercel, no gold trim, no sunroof, no spoiler on the back, just a plain old steering wheel, teal, no gold trim. The cost of that car was $9,983. Cosigner needed. Down payment was mandatory. High interest rate, high notes. It was a stick shift. Y'all, I don't even know how to drive a stick shift. I promise this is a true story. That's all that they would give me. So a few years later, I wanted to upgrade. Driving that car was not cute. I wanted to be cute, and I needed a car that looked my age. So at that time, although I was older, I definitely wasn't wiser. I still wasn't managing my money well, and my credit score still wasn't good. I went into the next dealership. So I decided that I wanted a silver Chevy Malibu. No gold trim, no sunroof, no spoiler, but it did have 4 doors, and it was very cute. So I called myself being a master negotiator. I went in determined to tell them what I wanted, and I didn't want them to give me what my credit score said that I could have. Y'all, I stared that salesman in his face, and I said I wanted that car, and I wasn't putting no money down, and I do not want my notes to be more than $250 a month. Oh, I definitely felt like I was a boss that day. So the salesman, he had me fill out an application, and he started typing my information in his computer. After a few minutes, y'all, he looked at me, and he just gave me a big old smile. So in hindsight, I realized that smile was a very suspicious smile. After a few hours, he had paperwork for me to sign. Then the car would be mine. So he started explaining what I was signing. But y'all, I had no clue what any of that terminology meant. I didn't know what that was. All I saw was that my note said $249.99. So in my head, I thought I won. I won. I got over on the dealership. I got what I wanted, and I was driving off in my silver Chevy Malibu. It didn't have gold trim. It didn't have a sunroof, no spoiler, no wood grain steering wheel, but I had 4 doors. And that car was so cute. The reality was that salesman got me. He got me good. He got over on me so good. I signed paperwork that financed that doggone car for what seemed like 83 years. My interest rate was so high. And what I would have paid over the terms of that agreement, I promise y'all, I could have paid college tuition for everyone who ever went to college, like ever. Years later, when I still was paying on that car, and I started learning more about finances, and I learned more about money, and I learned more about credit, and realized what I signed, I was so angry at that salesman. I called him a scammer. I called him a crook. And I called him other words that I cannot say on this podcast. But y'all, in reality, that was all my fault. It was on me. My credit report showed that I had a history of mismanaging my money. I had a history of not paying my bills on time. I had a history of maxing out credit card after credit card after credit card. My credit report showed that I was a high-risk consumer or a customer who wasn't worth taking a risk on at all. Y'all, that felt really bad. The dealership was in business to make money, not lose money on someone who's like me. So if I wanted that car or any car, I would have to pay the price. And I ended up paying a very high price. So as I got older, I found myself in the same situation over and over and over again, not being able to get what I needed with a decent interest rate because of the past mistakes that I kept making. So when I decided to buy my first house, I attended a home buyer education class, and I finally learned and I finally understood the importance of having good credit through paying bills on time, and managing my debt to income ratio. And today, I will share what I learned with you. So credit can be a pretty extensive topic. So we will definitely have several episodes dedicated to learning more about it and using it to your advantage. So we hear it talked about all the time, but what exactly is credit? So credit is the contractual agreement where a borrower, who is you, receives money or something of value and promises to repay the lender at a later date, usually with interest. So credit allows you to make large purchases such as a home or such as a car that you otherwise wouldn't be able to pay for with cash. And in doing so, you make the promise to make consistent, timely payments over time until the full amount is zero. So what is a credit score? A credit score is a 3-digit number that's designed to represent your credit risk or the likelihood of you paying all of your bills on time every time. So the credit score ranges from 300 to 850. The higher the score, the more it demonstrates that you have a good history of being responsible with borrowing money. You're worth the risk. So why is credit important? So credit allows you to buy now, and it allows you to pay later. So if you're in the market for a home that's like $200,000, realistically, how many of you have $200,000 just sitting in a bank account right now to purchase a house in cash? Would you be ready to buy now? Not many of us are. So having access to credit allows you to purchase your home now instead of saving up for however long that it'll take you to save up $200,000 to buy it later. But the problem with many of us is we use our credit cards to purchase any and everything without having a realistic game plan on how to effectively use it. And the amount that's due, it starts to grow, and the monthly payments become unmanageable. And soon you find yourself drowning in unnecessary debt. So if that's where you find yourself today, drowning in unnecessary debt, I'm here to send you a life jacket that will help you get the relief that you need. So the very first thing that I want you to do is stop. You're right in the middle of becoming free indeed of having financial burdens. You're reducing and you're eliminating debt so you can better enjoy your life instead of overworking to pay bills. You're making plans to have a future that may involve needing to utilize credit to make it happen. When that time comes, you need to be in a position to where utilizing credit will benefit you, not put you in the same position that you're in today. So if you are serious about improving your credit score in order to reach a bigger goal, stop swiping right now. Do not use that credit card to buy another pair of shoes. Do not use a credit card to buy one more outfit. Do not use that credit card to buy another expensive dinner. Do not use it to buy another gift. Do not use it to buy another expensive coffee. Nothing. Just stop swiping. The next thing you need to do is to stop and think. What is your ultimate financial goal that you want, that you would need credit for? Is it purchasing your forever home? Is it purchasing a realistic, affordable car? What do you need credit to do? As a matter of fact, take time and write it down. Then you must face your past. So your credit report is a list of information related to your credit activity that includes businesses that gave you credit or they gave you loans, the total amount for each loan or credit limit, how often you paid your loans on time, and the amount paid, any missed or late payments, any bankruptcies, or any public judgments. So if you have a history like mine, not worrying about nobody name, Experian, could care less about a TransUnion or Equifax, but you want to do and be better than you are now, you must face your past. Get a copy of your credit report and review it. Is the information on there correct? If the debt on there is correct, what are you going to do about it? So there are several ways to address past debts that's causing your credit scores to be low. Number one, you can make up your mind that you're going to just pay what you owe on time, every time, until the debt is paid in full. Number two, you can contact the people you owe and make an agreement with them to settle the account for an agreed upon amount in exchange for them removing the negative item from your report. This is called a pay for delete letter. Or number three, you could pay a credit repair company to remove the items from your report in order to improve your score. So each one of these ways have pros and cons attached to them. And in upcoming episodes, we will discuss those pros and we will discuss those cons in more details. So once you face your past, you're going to do three things to raise your score. One, pay your bills on time, every time until they're paid off. This matters because your payment history makes up 35% of your credit score. Missed payments or late payments will drop your score a whole lot, and it can affect your credit score for up to 7 years. So if you haven't been the best at paying your bills on time in the past, please do not beat yourself up about it, because that is going to change now, right? Because you're making time to pay attention to where your money is going instead of always wondering where it went. You've identified and you eliminated your latte factor. So now you have extra money available to pay your bills on time, which overall will raise your credit scores. Number two, you're going to keep your credit balances low. So having credit cards and using them isn't a bad thing. The issue is mismanaging your credit card use and maxing them out and keeping them maxed out. The rule of thumb is not to charge no more than 30% of your credit limit and pay that amount back each month on time. So if you have a credit limit of like $500, don't charge more than $150 in a month and pay back $150 before or on the due date. This shows self-control and restraint, that even though you have $500 available to use, you don't need to charge every dime of it. And here is the payment in full before the due date. So earlier, I told you to stop swiping your credit card, to stop paying for shoes, and to stop paying for outfits and expensive dinners. I still want you to do that. But in order to help your credit scores go up, you can use up to 30% of your limit to buy what you need and pay the bill in full on time each month. So for example, you need fuel for your vehicle to get to work or to school. So use your credit card to purchase gas, up to 30%, then pay it off on time, each time, every month. Bam, credit score going up. Number three, do not close old accounts. Your credit score considers how long you've had accounts open. The older accounts that's in good standing helps to boost your score. So if you close these accounts, your scores could decrease. And on the flip side, opening new accounts will decrease your scores as well because there's actually no history attached to it yet. So if you have a strategic plan for what you need to have access to credit for, loans, whatever, be careful about opening new accounts and do not close your old accounts. So like I said earlier, discussing credit and how to use it to your advantage will be several episodes. It definitely will. But the main thing to take away from today's episode is don't overuse your credit and don't abuse the credit. Put yourself in the lender's shoes. If you were looking at your application and you had to make a decision to give you a loan to purchase anything, would you give yourself a loan? Would you give yourself any money? So if you wouldn't loan yourself money, why should anyone else? Simple. But to your credit, you're taking the necessary steps now to correct your past mistakes. To your credit, you're taking the responsibility of having access to money more seriously. To your credit, you are being mindful of how your future will look and how much money it'll take for you to be and have a great future. To your credit, you are paying attention to your latte factor. To your credit, you are managing your budget. To your credit, you are now living by the 10, 10, and 80 rule. To your credit, you are doing everything you can to dream big, stay focused, and live your best life within budget. So this wraps up episode number 12. We are at our 3-month goal mark. How does it feel? For those of you who did not hit your goals, what was the reason? Did you feel overwhelmed? Did life keep lifing too much? Did you not see the results you wanted? Did 3 months seem like it took too long? Whether you participated or not, 3 months still passed by. So what I need you to do now is to make a decision that you're going to participate. Time is still going on. So you might as well join us and be glad that in the next 3 months that you took this journey. I want you to stop, recalibrate, and start again. For those of y'all who did it, you hit your 3-month goal mark. How does it feel? I see you over there nodding your head, smiling, giving yourself a high five. I need you to go ahead and cheer yourself on. This was an amazing journey for you. This was great accomplishments. So what are you going to do to celebrate yourself? That's within budget. Whatever it is, go and enjoy it. But it doesn't stop here. We're starting the next 3-month legs next episode. What's your goals? Write them down. What do you need to do? Write them down. How will you celebrate yourself? Write it down. And let's get started. So before I wrap up this episode, I mentioned earlier that we had many people who chose to participate in the It's Crystal Clear Challenge. And everyone I heard from faced their challenges. Some of them fell off the wagon, but they got back up again. They took baby steps, but kept going no matter what. And they made it to today, 3 months closer to becoming financially free indeed. But we have 3 people who were selected to receive what's in this bag. This bag has some financial blessing inside. So these blessings were sponsored by Bishop McKinley August and his church, Cathedral of Praise Miracle Center in Beaumont. Bishop August reached out to me and said God put it on his heart and his church's heart to be a blessing to what's happening with the podcast and those who are becoming financially free indeed because of it. Bishop August and our Cathedral of Praise family, I just want to thank you all so much. Words cannot even describe how intricate your partnership means to those who were selected today. Our prayer is for God to continue to reward you for all you do for others inside the walls, at your church on Lucas Street, and beyond. Thank you again. So now to our winners of the It's Crystal Clear 3-month goal, knocked it out the box challenge. So congratulations to these 3 people. One who purchased her first home 2 years ago. This year she reduced her latte factor. She paid off her credit cards within 2 months. And she paid her mortgage 2 months in advance. 2, a person who eliminated debt, reduced his latte factor, hears my voice in his head often, and making plans to reduce more debt to reach his very specific goal. And the third person who had items in her Amazon cart but did not press the buy button. She has a goal for her family to buy a new house this summer. Her husband and she did everything they were instructed to do, and now they have been approved for a mortgage through their lender, and they are now working with their realtor to search for their forever home. So congratulations to Katrina, to Doug, and to Kim M. So I have envelopes to give to you all, courtesy of Apostle McKinley August and the Cathedral of Praise Miracle Church. So that is this episode, and I hope you all were blessed by what I shared. And I look forward to our time together again. Remember, I am trying to reach my goals, y'all, and I need your help to do it. So please share this podcast. We're on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. We're everywhere. So also a special thanks to my behind the scenes team. I really value each of you more than you know. And thank you to everyone who's been watching every episode from 1 to 12. Y'all making me blush. So until next time, dream big, stay focused, and live your best life within budget. I'll see you next time on this episode of It's Crystal Clear.